Good morning. Greetings from Pflugerville, Texas. I think it's Friday. Shabbos begins. That means I get to sleep in the morning. It's 8 a.m. Texas time. I had my morning cup a while ago. I'm just been kind of catching up and just being chill. I was pondering. This morning I woke up on time. Actually, I woke up before and cleared my space over at the hypochondriac clinic and stuff. The woman was it was a little bit. She was coming out to unlock the front doors. That's the regular lady. She would never bother me. Anyway, I was heading across. I pointed out before that little space there in front of Starbucks is one of the most congested and one of the most dangerous places to walk or to. Anyway, funny thing is I'm moving along and I'm hugging because that's the exact spot right that when I first noticed her, she came around the corner real quick. I'm not sure where the hell she parked. Young lady that I was getting grumpy inside my head with. Actually, when she went inside, I made a remark that she couldn't hear, and she was hugging the curb, the fire, which is forcing me out into traffic, right out into where some guy that was the day of rage. You go back in my videos, it's the guy deliberately smacked me with a collapsible mirror on his truck. You could tell they had been plotting and planning. He had sometime during the night had seen the call to arms to kill all Jews, across the planet. That was like something like Friday the 13th of October or some shit like that. I'd have to go back in my videos, but so the girl pushes past me and she seems to be in a hell of a rush to get inside there, and I'm just puttering along. I stopped to plug in my big battery because I'd finally located my really good charger. Got several of them. And just as I'm getting ready to hook it up, and all of a sudden she comes up from behind me, and it's kind of like, oh shit, she may have heard me or something. I said something less than polite, but nobody was really. And she goes, would you like some breakfast? And she had not one but two of those little bags, which just like right off the bat, that's somewhere between $12 to $14. It looked like maybe a couple breakfast croissants, which if I were a wise man, I would have hung on to for later consumption, but I really like them hot. I don't, but it was just my first impulse to say, thank you. I don't eat in the morning because I don't. Yesterday I consumed ate a few cookies, and then that was about it. Before bed I ate a tin of beef. So yeah, my total calorie intake yesterday, other than before the sugar in the coffee or whatever, it was probably maybe 700 calories or something. With the sugar, I might have gone 1,200 calories tops. So good morning. Been a long time rule of mine, especially in my adult life. I do not eat unless I'm hungry, because if you eat when you're not hungry, that just doesn't digest right. So anyway, that's kind of all I know today. Is if you can see it, gosh, just look how gray skies. Even when I woke up, the air was kind of warm and moist. It's about 60 right now. It was like 58 or 9 when I woke up. That's, I was warm in the fart sack and stuff. And can't really explain why I really haven't been doing any much stooping over stuff, but I can tell the lumbar muscles are really sensitive today. And so we've got a real high chance of rain today, the way it's going. I can already feel kind of like those little micro, like, like my hand right now, I can feel like little tiny little micro droplets occasionally tingling on it, occasionally on the face. We got a good chance of rain today, which means more. It's good that I have projects, scientific things that I can work on in my head, because otherwise I'd be probably just batshit raving crazy from. But actually, December is not usually a wet month for Texas. January is a wetter month, but none of those old averages are correct anymore. Many years ago, we began having all time, when the whole world was screaming, global warming, we were getting phenomenally high rainfalls. We had at least a couple years where one year was definitely 120 inches I measured off. That was the all-time record, and even in the local dendrochronology. And gosh, the massive amounts of water running off my place. Just keep that. That's the headwaters of Beard Creek, and which actually, when it does that, that's when you have to watch out. Here's a little bit of Texas things that Texans know. Like if you live on a hilltop or anywhere where the creek's running off, or especially if it's a creek if it's actually on my property, the tabletop, kind of the top of the hill is kind of flattened. It runs off the east side of Jack's place, and on the west side it runs off on the Anderson place, which now belongs to somebody else. I don't know who, because she split her property up into 3 different parties. One of them went to that ex-cop, and then Moser's place, he has his own little ravine in the back. That's where Terry Malone was at. And they're finally reporting something I saw a long time ago. They're finally reporting a good 6 or 7 foot gator, which would about account for. But anyway, when the water's running off like that, and occasionally there's fish that will migrate, downstream that way. That's how they may hatch in my pond, but they migrate, and sometimes they really don't have a choice because of it's really flooding and stuff. The flow of water is so great that they just kind of go along with it. And that's when the water moccasins start coming up that creek. And you have to be very leery. If you're a Texan, when it's running like that, those little creeks coming off of hills and stuff like that, because the water moccasin is a bad mofo. Because I ain't never been bit by it. To the best of my knowledge, their venom is it causes necrosis. I mean, once you're bit, you're going to lose a lot of flesh. And I've seen some really nasty. They do that reptilian spin. Sometimes after they bite you, they latch on like you're a fit. But that's one of the things you have to watch out for. But I remember after one rain, quite a few years back, I'm going like, is that a big ass giant? They're called Texas alligator snapping turtles or something. They're one of the most primitive looking creatures you can imagine. They have like these pyramidal structures on their shells, and they look, like escapees from the dinosaur age. And I kept watching it in my pond. I'm going, no way, that thing's over 3, almost 4 foot long. It was a baby alligator. It finally made it up to the top of the hill. After a while, it was gone, but I was real careful around that pond for a while. I miss my home, but like I said, I don't like my new neighbors, and my brother won't be in possession of it for very long, because as far as I know, he's already dead. But Satan's already taken his soul. There's nothing there. I told you about it. It's not gonna. lie to you about what I saw. It's, my brother's demon possessed. I can see it. I told you. I'm not allowed to really see his face anymore. Just, I know that there's a neurological disease where people don't recognize faces or shit like that, but no, there's something wrong with him. He's fucked up. I don't like my neighbors. I don't like the way it's going. Because that used to be when I finally decided to move up from my other property, a Prairiedale property. There was really almost nobody around there. There really wasn't. There was, Gussie Everhart. Shit. There was almost nobody in the Shoemaker, Everhart, Kruger. That was about it. Left in the old birdsong community. We were the birdsong community. The last remnants of it. So that's it. I've done got on for like 11, 12 minutes. And I can feel that slight mist hitting my hand. I really can't afford to be, and if I do, I'll go up there, I'm going to be having to just slap my hand going, don't grab no Johnny Walker again. I just don't drink that often. But if it starts raining or just becoming, I've got to have some kind of distraction. I don't like going to the Target area because, I'm sorry, I just really, why am I apologizing for you being gay? There's just too much, like I showed you in the film, that one of my viewers pointed out that he thought it was a man. No, I'd seen that female up close. That was a female man walking through the parking lot who first went past his car and then doubled back and kind of eased, don't know what the heck he was up to, but he knew it was on camera. She knew she was on camera. I don't like Target because it's really, it's a bizarre place where they think that the average guy has a 30-inch waist. And they don't really sell clothes for big men, meaning they have some kind of bias against people who are bigger than them. You really can't call me fat. I am obese, but my chest has always been 10 inches bigger than my waist, no matter my weight. I've always been height-weight proportionate. And it's almost impossible for me to, and actually all over this town, you cannot find, I really need, as a minimum, I need a 34-inch inseam. And the demographics are here now that, 30 inches is considered a long inseam because people are so short fucking. Actually, I've never seen, here in the last few months, I have seen so many women, usually, mature women, sometimes chronologically advantaged, that are like Maine. They're like 4'6". I can be in a wheelchair and I'm taller than they are. Anyway, I understand how retailers have to cater. That's why the majority of like their clothing and stuff is going to be in the medium range where most people fit. But to truly be a decent retailer, you must also cater to the extremes, the extremely small-footed, the extremely large-footed. You need to have them out there. Although shoes and clothing are perishable items. And Walmart is losing that. They're still putting out summer shit that should be marked down to move it. Clothing is perishable. Okay, they're making more and more clothes out of plastic now. I mean, pure fucking super durable plastic that you can just throw in a fucking box and keep in a warehouse for 10, 20 years, but it's still perishable. It's not a durable good. And a real retailer knows to mark that shit down and move it. You make a smaller profit, but you're still making a profit and you're making room. You don't have to have excess storage for the next seasons. You know, as a Jew, I already told you before in previous videos, one of our Jewish secrets is never buy clothing in season. You get robbed. You know, I used to do that every year. Before going up to Maine, they would have the winter clothing, especially mine, and marked way the hell down. And I'd go up there because sometimes it doesn't really warm up until August. And then before leaving, I would buy what they consider summer gear, which would be lovely. What was the name of that starts with an L department store in Portland? I remember going there one time and they had some of the thickest, heaviest, pure cotton sweaters, several of them in burnt orange, one of my favorite colors and stuff. They were selling them for $10 a pop. They were selling them for actually below probably what they paid for them, because there would now be $120, $140, $60 sweater, and I think they were original price on them. They were getting, this is decades ago, they were getting $80 a pop, and I bought a bunch of them for $10 a pop. That's the way you do it. A smart Jew buys off season. And now, even at the beginning of the season, they got horrible looking shit. And Target does not sell clothes for big chested men. I don't know where the hell they think we're going to go and stuff. It's the days of big men's clothing stores is pretty much something passe in America. We no longer, although we still have plenty of big men, there's just nobody catering to us. There's one shoe store in Austin called Big Shoes. And I already did a review of it on my other channel, one of my previous channel previous to this. And the minute they drug out the shoes, I knew that they were marked larger than they actually are, and those shoes were heavily lined and stuff, making them even. So 18 minutes, there's the morning report, is already turned down. You know, please people, shekels, baby, you keep wanting to give me the shit that you pick out. You know, she picked out, and am I gonna, because right at that point in time I had no coffee, I was plugging in my 30 amp hour battery. And she goes, would you like, you know, and I'm already figuring it's probably something I can eat, but I'm not hungry. Don't know when I will be hungry. And also I dissuaded her because don't come running up behind me. Don't do that. You know, right off the bat, that put me on the defensive. It made me a negative person. When you come literally running up behind me, at least I could spot her on the periphery. Once she got within about 20 or 30 feet, I really recognized somebody was moving real fast towards me. And I'm just going to naturally be negative to whatever you got to, because your approach was, this is Texas. You should call out, sir, before approaching. Isn't it true in the military that, you know, if the guard spots you first, he goes, halt, who goes there? And actually, you're supposed to call off before you approach a guard station. Let them know that you're approaching so you don't get your ass shot. I'm not trying to be some hard ass here, but she probably spent at least $12, maybe $14 on those two little tiny bags of probably some very lovely croissant, breakfast croissants, probably tasty, delicious. And I'd much rather have the money in my pocket, to tell you the truth, so I could buy non-perishable tinned beef at Walmart, of which I'm only down to, I got about 16 cans of it left in my ditch bag. Still got I got at least 2 pounds, those little cheese square sticks, cheddar, mild cheddar, and still actually never opened up the can of sweetened condensed milk. So I got plenty of food. It's just a question of appetite. So 20 minutes, that's way too damn long. Good morning, Cass. Thanks for the Actually, it's good evening there, and it's already like Saturday or something in Australia. Anyway, my best to you and yours, Cass. And please stay in touch, man. I haven't been watching really videos much lately. I found a Michael Caine. You probably may remember. It's called Pulp, Cass. It was a good. It was so cornball and the narration, everything, because that's what it was all about. It was about pulp fiction writers. And please, everybody, I haven't been watching much of Cass's videos and stuff like that. I haven't been watching hardly anything, and I will finish with this. Is that I swear the AI this morning test. I haven't been watching. I don't want to keep up with the news because when you begin to see all these idiot people and how they hate my people and stuff. But I swear after one of my videos there, the AI lined up every video, Jew-hating video, and then anything that would make a Jew look bad, like somebody interviewing Israeli, looked like just Israeli women or a few Israelis about them promoting genocide of Arabs. And geez, I'm not sure if I could really disagree with that. But they were clearly, the objective was to make Israelis look bad and genocidal themselves, when we've been the subject of their genocide endlessly. Let's not forget that these are people that backed up Hitler. They were buddy with Hitler. Don't forget that. And anyway, that's it. Just remember, I don't eat in the mornings. Oh, mostly pissing your time and money away. And that's when you ask the most. Can I get you something from Starbucks? I said, no, thanks. About 1 million times now. When a hoarder is somebody's, because of the ants, although the ants are kind of going dormant this time of year. But during the warm weather, I could not hoard food, and I'm not going to spend my freaking money buying Ziploc bags, or in general doing anything that makes. I'm already close enough to looking like a bag lady is the term, because I'm tired of. I was just kind of doing a fold up of my sleeping bag and putting it in my chair so I'd sit on it and compress it. No, that bag is loosely rolled and in a big 10 mil heavy duty trash bag, because it's getting close to where it really needs to be run into a big commercial machine, and my blankets, and needs to be tumbled dry in a very large, needs to really get fluffed up to maintain loft and temperature and heat retention. 24 minutes, that's obscenely long. I'm out of here. I'll try to stay in touch, but don't know, because it looks like rain to me. What do you think? Hazy as shit. They're saying 70% this afternoon. Probably won't be much, but just enough to make things uncomfortable, unpleasant, make me want to be indoors somewhere. I have yet to go to that fucking big ass bowling alley. Probably because it's gonna be full of fucking rich kids who get to sit around and bowl all day and smoke weed and smoke meth and just be full of. Actually, I've watched the place a bit. They don't seem to have much business. They really don't. Anyway, 25 minutes, I'm out. That's way too long. Actually, it's time for my second cup. Yeah, that'll do it for the day. 2 cups.